Hello viewers, I'm that your friend, Urban Father Man Brooder, a Catholic priest who is so passionate about farming. Today I'm in my poultry pen and I'm with my birds them here. They are actually the Buella birds and they are just 5 weeks and 3 days. These birds we trade them for 6 weeks and they're already due for the market. There are some rules and regulations you must abide with if you must go into broiler production. Because there are some persons who have been trying to reach out to me that they are scared of going into broiler production. And that is why I'm here to have this video and also to discuss with us on how to manage broilers on poultry production. For example, before going into this broiler production, you must first of all learn the rules and regulations on how to manage broilers. If you don't know all that, it's a very risky business, and that is why I'm shooting this video to tell us some basic rules and regulations on how to manage broiler production. The first thing you need to do in broiler production is to have your brooder house ready. A brooder house is actually a little confinement that you build where you put the day-old birds, because at that their initial stage they do not relate with cold. They need somewhere that is so warm, and you put them there. You also generate heat for them by getting a charcoal fire for them, or if you have electricity, a bulb that can generate heat. You give them they remain in that place for about a week plus. Then there in that brooder house, you make sure that the place is clean. You give them feed. They should have access to good feed, enough that they can eat. They should not go hungry at that stage, because that is actually the foundational ground in which these birds will grow on. Their vaccines must be given to them. The first week after you bring them into the brooder house, you make provision for what we call the vaccine of Lasota. They have them at different doses. If, for example, you are having 100 birds in your brooder, you get the vaccine Lasota of 100 doses. If you have 200 birds, you go for Lasota of 200 doses. Just like that, depends on the numbers of birds that you are having. Then after that first week, you give them, after giving them the Lasota, you give them also what we call vitamin to build any body deficiency that is in their system, to build their system. You give them ordinary water. You also mix antibiotics for them to flush out any unseen bacteria that can be in their system. After doing all that within a week plus, the second week you give a vaccine also we call Gumboro. Like what I said, depends on the numbers of birds you are having. That is the dose you will also apply to the birds. You give the first week Lasota, the second week you give also Gumboro. Their feed you continue to give to them. You give to them, and this feed is called starter. For the small birds, you give them starter. And after giving them that Gumboro, you bring them out from, even sometimes before giving them the Gumboro, you bring them out from the brooder. And you create a space like this, like what you see here. You create a space for them that is properly ventilated. Cross ventilation is very important. You create that ventilation for them. You bring them in. You put feeders around. You make sure that they have enough feeders for them to eat. Then you put the drinkers also. Then you put them in a spacious place like this. Then there is something you must watch out for, and that is there is a sickness there's a disease called coccidiosis that you must watch out for. There are two diseases that you must watch out for when training broilers: the coccidiosis and CROD. The CROD means chronic respiratory disease. This actually, for the coccidiosis, please come over. There is actually a sign that you will see in their poo, and you will know that these birds. This is actually, for example, please, cameraman, can you video this poo for me? Turn it. Can you see it? Okay. This is actually a poo that we call normal poo. Sometimes you see some kind of poo that is abnormal. It is actually brownish in nature. I'm trying to look for one. At that particular point in time, these birds are telling you that they are suffering from a disease that is gradually coming up called coccidiosis. The poo will be brownish as if they're the purge, like human being purge. You will know that these birds are having coccidiosis. So what you do is, first of all, you clean the pen. You remove the old litter. You remove the old sawdust, and you put fresh one. Then you buy the medication called coccidiosis. You go to the veterinary clinic or the pharmacist. Then they give you the medication called coccidiosis. You apply it into the water, and you allow them to drink it for about 3 days. Then thereafter you remove it. Then you give them ordinary water, vitamin, antibiotics. Make sure that you change the sawdust. The sawdust is very important. You change them, you make sure that they have fresh sawdust that they can beat. You can see how these birds are beating. They must have, their poo must be normal. Their poo must be normal. Please come, let me show you what, give me the camera, let me show you what a normal poo is. This is actually, for example, this is a normal poo. This is a normal poo with a whitish and a black. This is actually a normal poo. This is actually abnormal poo. What you see here now is abnormal. This is actually a sign that there is an infection that is coming up. Then you need to quickly tackle it by giving them antibiotics, and please continue. Antibiotics and also the coccidiosis. Then there is another one you need to give, which is called the CROD. We call it C stand for chronic, and the R stand for respiratory. Then the D stands for disease, chronic respiratory disease. You give them, there are signs that the birds show that they are having the symptom. But here in our farm, we do not allow them to show that symptom before we treat them. There is what we call preventing a disease. And if you have the culture of preventing a disease before the disease occurs, you are likely going to be successful. Instead of you to be treating disease, you will be preventing disease. And as a farmer, the best way in which you can be successful in poultry farming is to prevent disease. Don't treat disease, but prevent the disease. And that is why I advise that you give these medications intermediary regularly. Just give it to them to flush the system. So you go to the veterinary pharmacy, then you get what they call CROD. Tell them you are looking for a medication CROD. They'll give it to you. You put it in the water, because the sign of the CROD, if you're already having that chronic respiratory disease, you see them sneezing. At the time they start sneezing, they start coughing, they'll be losing appetite to feed. And at that particular, you'll be hearing the sound making as if there is a catarrh in their system, and they can no longer eat. At that particular point in time, the disease is already a full-blown disease. And from there, you begin to record death rate. But for you not to have this, you prevent, you give regularly. And you see your birds, they will be so healthy. Within 5, 6 to 7 weeks, your birds are already due for the market. And you can see all those birds, they are so healthy. They don't have the disease called coccidiosis. They don't have the disease called CROD, because we do preventive here in our farm. And that is why these birds are so healthy and strong. I remain that your friend, Reverend Father Michael Obudu. Continue to subscribe to this my YouTube channel. I'm also on TikTok, and sometimes we also go on live stream. You follow us and you continue to enjoy good videos coming from the Agro Prince Farm. God bless you. Thank you for watching.